Good morning. Just checking to see who can hear me. Can you just confirm, everybody? You can hear me? Great. Okay. Now I'm just seeing what is working today in terms of microphones. It seems like it will be my built-in microphone again, but let me just see for a second, okay? Microsoft Pro, MacBook Pro built-in, same system, MacBook Crestron, so we're not getting. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, then I know what the workaround is going to be. Okay, let me just do a quick test right now to see. When I do this, I'm going to tap on the microphone. Do you tell me yes or no in the live chat if you hear me hitting this, okay? No? Yeah. Yeah. But of course you hear me nice and clearly here, right? As I stand here at the podium. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm just seeing what's working and what isn't right now this morning. So we'll have to do that. Then these microphones, those microphones. So good. At least we have, yeah, good. And we're on YouTube, and that's good. It's streaming well there. The video is streaming. My audio is here. So what I'm going to do is just set up things today, so we'll work from the podium. Students are coming in right now. There are probably about 10 students in front of me. So just give me a moment and you're going to hear me moving around. Next step I need is to get this working. So let's see what we're doing here and see if this is going to work. And I'll check over here on student pod 1. We're going to get notes up here. Oh, I think I know why. Okay. We have rack PC I could go to. HDMI is there. Extended, no. Laptop main, no. Student pod 1, no. Student pod 2, no. Okay, so I'm going to try this. One more time. Screen share, wired. Because it would be great if we get this. And I think I might have just solved that. Here we go. Yes? No? Okay, interesting. And why is that? Why is that? Okay, so are we going to get that? One more time. Export, save. Let's get the screen share going. But if that's not working, then I have to work around for that. Screen share, wired. Okay, so from here, there may be a different port. So we'll try it once more, and see if we're getting anything there. No, and let me just try up here. Do we get anything there? No, okay. So we'll do one more little test. Interesting. Might be, yeah, it should be screen share. That's the whole idea. But this cable is not working. Okay. So cables are in. Everything's in. We'll do it one more time and then we'll go for work around. Let's try work around. Screen share. Screen share. Wire. Okay, give it a moment. Will it go? Just trying to get our notes working. I'll explain in a moment what's going on. Okay, so that's not going to happen today. All right, so we're going to go into workaround, backup, and always come in with a backup, a workaround, and we'll leave the signage there for now. I don't want to get slowed down too much by the tech issues. We do have a connection there. That's good. I can be parked here. And let me just see. We can still do the notes in person here. Great. We've got some good students on the couches here. We're about ready to blast off in a couple of minutes. Officially, we start at 10:10. And I'm just doing some troubleshooting right now. But I see what we've got in front of us today in terms of what is and isn't working technically. The most important thing is we have the humans here. And we can still use that. And we can still save the notes for everybody. So, good. I got it. Let's keep these pens here. let's do this. Right. Come back to interesting that it's not working. That may be your first year in school. Just what are you told? Just lines up. Why don't we bring in last week? Yeah, we'll work with that, and then we can review from there. Exactly. So that would be that, and those were is Melissa here today? Melissa, we did the notes last week. Anyway, somebody will like that, but we're gonna do this. Yeah, there's on board from last week. Huh. Okay, so we're gonna have to do. Come on. Interesting. So now this is freezing. Wow. Do we have issues today? Okay, so that's the next one. So I'm not getting any, but I could. What was that? What was that? Okay, so that's not going to work. All right. I get it. I know what's going on. Okay, so let me just close the doors and we can get audio at least working. And we have our in-person group. That's excellent. We have recording on YouTube. That's good. High definition. That's enough. I can stand at the podium. Terrific. We have enough to begin the class. Welcome everyone to week number 2, class number 2 of Global Leader for our fall 2025 semester. Come on in, and if you can come closer, sit on the couches, that would be great, or at the very least, in the tables closest to the couches. That way, we're going to get this conversational depth really working better and better. I am going to just double check before we begin that the onliners in the Cosmos can hear me clearly now, because this is a very important connection that I will have today. And Fatima, is it? Or Zainab? Yes, good. Shona, everyone can hear me well. So today is a really interesting day to be having the Global Leader class on September the 10th, 2025. The topic today that we're going to explore is very much about always leadership, but I think I can make it a bit more experiential for you today in terms of the topic, because at midnight tonight, or 12:01 a.m. on September the 11th, we may have a strike on campus. And you should have received an email from the college yesterday about this. Could you please raise a hand if you saw that email and everyone's aware of the situation? Okay, 1, 2, or 3, excellent. And for those of you online, let's just try and see if the audio is going to work on my speaker, okay? If not, we'll go to the live chat. For now, all of you in person, I'm not putting anything up there yet on the board because things are not quite working, but just know that there are about 8 students online, and you'll see them shortly, okay? It's like last week. For the online students, could somebody just jump on their microphone and say hello and confirm that they saw the college announcement yesterday? Please go ahead.
Hi, I don't know if I got an email.
Okay,
I'm not sure if I got one.
I have to stick to the live chat. Could you, all of you online, just click on your digital, hand if you agree, or a yes to confirm that you saw the college announcement yesterday. I just want to get a sense of who did. So a couple of students did. Here, more, 3 or so of the 8. So quite a few of you didn't, and that means I'll have to explain. And I will have to explain it, of course, within the context of everything that we're about to do today. So let's just take this very slowly, okay? Every time I walk into the global classroom, things don't always work the way they should. Today, it's even worse than last week, but at least we can have a class. And it's also because I'm not going to call on tech support right now to help us in support of those who may be on strike tomorrow. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that as well. The people who may go on strike tomorrow are the full-time support people at the college, those who work in the libraries, those who work in tech support, those who work in remedial services like the academic and learning services, SALs, and all that support, about 400 people full-time. Then there's the part-timers too. Right now, they're in very intensive bargaining. Today, the last day with the College Employers Council that represents all the colleges in Ontario. And there will be an announcement later today, at the latest by midnight, as to whether they've come to an agreement or not. At noon today, there will be a practice picket to show our support for the support staff, many of them close colleagues of mine who've helped me build this. They will be out there as a kind of practice, and I will go over there at noon and show support to them as well. And I would welcome all of you to do the same, but I'm going to make this part of the class today in terms of how we deal with leadership, how we deal with conflict, and how we deal with some of the big problems in the world today that all of you must confront as a developing leader or a person who's concerned about global leadership. We have right now a great example of a developing crisis on the campus. And I'm going to give you a word for the moment, and then I'm going to explain a bit more about the class today, and we'll get going with our activities and everything. This is a word that's going to be resonating a lot through the semester. It's called perma-crisis. Anybody heard that word? Perma-crisis? Well, since we don't have our notes working on the board, and since I'm not going to call tech support today, I will have to do this a bit in the old-fashioned way, which is you're all going to have to take notes yourself. But I think I have a workaround. Hold on. I think I have a workaround. I am going to have one of the onliners keep notes in the live chat for us. Okay? And that onliner who does that will get full participation marks for doing just that. So let's see. I'll bring them up here for a moment and see if I can do this. Will this come up? Great. Okay, it's going to work. All right. And let me just do something else here. I'm going to go back to my old map of the world and cover that so that you don't see all of this. Oh, you know what I'll do? Sorry. I'll do the YouTube live stream there. I'll put that up so you don't see, because that's a little bit delayed and it's not so distracting. So let me just come back for a moment to here, okay? For those of you online right now, that would be Drew, Shona, Danveer, Fatima, and a few others. Who among you is ready to volunteer to take the notes in the live chat as our workaround? And for that, you will receive full participation marks. Who would be prepared to do that? And you don't have to. It means, well, we have someone right here who's already volunteered, and she's faster than any of you are, and her name is Sasha, I think. Great. So Sasha's got the live stream going, and she's going to do the notes. So sorry, guys, online, Drew and the others, you're just going to have to continue to do the reflection posts for full participation marks. Good, you're watching. Who? Oh, Shona. Okay, let's give it to Shona. Yeah, well then, that's a really good sign of sort of empathy as a global leader. Shona is going to do the notes because Sasha has just said, she will sacrifice herself a little bit today. She will be a generous, open-hearted leader, and she's going to give the task to somebody else. We would call that empathy, which is a very important part of leadership. So Shona, you're ready to do this, and I will save the live chat, of course. So this will all be available to everybody in the folder on DC Connect, okay? There will be no notes there today because it's not working, and we will do it in the live chat. Great. So we have our notes, we have our audio, we have our live stream. Let us continue, and I will just leave this up here for now so you can kind of see what's happening on YouTube like 2 seconds ago. Okay, and I'll bring up other things as well, but I just want to keep an eye on that in case YouTube crashes. But we're good. And of course, I'll leave the live chat up there because we have students watching it. That nice big live chat. Great. Okay, so we have an opportunity to experience at the campus today a developing crisis. And at noon today, if you would like, you can come and join me and show your support, or even just ask questions and learn more from all of the full-time support staff and others who will be there for the practice picket at noon. But you don't have to. There's no pressure on you to do this. I'm just offering this to you. But in terms of our purposes in this classroom today, I want to be able to explore this idea of permacrisis in terms of global leadership with all of you. And we're going to do that in a moment with an activity where you're going to work in teams, and then we're going to take it all up together and put it into the notes. But essentially, here's what I'd like you to start thinking about right now, okay? And we will get there momentarily. In the reflections that were done for the discussion post number 1, there were some good ones in terms of the longer reflections from students who were watching the recordings, where they were explaining their questions. There were lots of good questions too, and you will all have received your marks by now, at least those who posted theirs on time. Many of you will have received 5 out of 5, as we discussed, for coming in person and posting your question. You should have seen those marks, okay? So they're there for you. But there were others, of course, in the discussion board that you can see too, who were posting their explanations and reflections. And 1 or 2 students said, well, I'd really like to know who are examples of good global leaders in the world today. Who are these people that we're talking about? These individuals that represent this idea of global leadership, and that we in our class would like to study and maybe emulate or learn from, because that's why we're in this general education elective, Global Leader, to learn how to become more of a global leader in our lives. Not just to study them for curiosity, but to make it real in the sense that you are moving in this direction in your life. You want to be learning more about leaders to become one yourself, or at least learn about what makes a global leader. What are the qualities that make a global leader? What are they facing? What kinds of problems are they solving? Because maybe there are qualities, such as confidence, for example, that comes up a lot, that you could add to your life. So you may not want to just become a global leader and become, Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, or Elon Musk, for better or for worse, one of our most brilliant technical minds, but also a great example of how power can corrupt. And you may see examples around you, and you may wonder, what are they doing that I'm not? how can I learn from them to become better at what I do? So there may be all sorts of reasons why you want to know about global leaders and global leadership, not just to become that person, but to learn attributes, characteristics, qualities of these people. And we saw that last week on display here with one student already coming up here immediately and displaying courage. And if you saw the recording, or at least saw what was posted, I made sure that when I chose the thumbnail for that, because I make that choice. Remember, I come from production, long years as a television producer, director, executive producer, so I understand the power of the image and all of these things. So it was important for me to find a screenshot of Zaid, right? Put it up there, and if you look at that, you will see Global Leader, September the 3rd, 2025. Right underneath that, what do you see? Him. Now, you may not have noticed that, but I did. And part of what I do in this class is try and showcase students who are displaying those qualities. Maybe they never knew they had it in them. And maybe by taking this class and by interacting with others and coming here and week after week, they may begin to see that, yeah, actually, I do have it in me. So this is why we need to really today begin to talk about leadership and global leadership in detail. Last week was just an introduction. There will be guests coming to the class through the semester, of course. Starting with next week, there will be a young guest coming and joining us in person. And I have others set up already for you later. But the most important thing is we need to start talking today about, what do you think a global leader is? Who are these people? What do they display? And what I'm going to do in a few minutes is I'm going to start the teamwork quickly. You're going to get into your teams, and each team working around the classroom is going to have a discussion. And they're going to choose in their team one person, one individual that they think displays global leadership. In other words, you're going to have a discussion. There are 4 or 5 of you in your group, and you're going to share examples of who you think are global leaders, and then you're going to decide who's the one that you're going to present to the rest of the class. And we're going to get a list going. And through that list of global leaders, we're going to have a discussion. We're going to determine who collectively as a class, after we voted by clapping to choose, you will see who today will emerge from this class as the global leader that we believe represents the qualities that we've defined. And I'm going to help you with that today. A lot that I'm going to sort of give you, not by PowerPoint lectures and standing here, but sort of in the conversation. I'll stop and I'll deliver a lecture, off my toes in 5 or 10 minutes to talk to you about qualities, and then we'll get back to you. So get ready for that activity in a moment. Start thinking about, in your minds right now, including the onliners, who should emerge today as you walk out of here as an outstanding example of global leadership. Okay? So that's the class. I have to remain here because the technical problems continue, but I'm going to make that part of the class. I'm going to steal a sort of technique from Donald Trump that Donald Trump has stolen from many others, because he is a master thief, this individual. Okay, so we'll get to the United States, democracy, Donald Trump, and all of that later through the semester. I just want to remind you that this person is a remarkable study of in my estimation, rotten leadership. and a country in decline. However, Donald Trump understands something. He's very cunning. He knows how to get attention. And when he was on trial before he was elected for his second term, he went to trial for his sort of fiscal mismanagement of his company. There are all sorts of other trials and cases against him for assaulting people, raping women, attacking others, and his supporters who attacked the Capitol building in the United States, the lie about the election that was stolen, all of that. But there was one thing that he did which was quite brilliant, and his supporters love him for this. When he was on trial, he made sure that he included that as part of his marketing. So every day he would come out of the courtroom and he would face the cameras, and he always played an amazing victim. When somebody tried to kill him, to shoot him in the head, and he survived that became the marketing campaign in the United States. On billboards all across the United States, there would be pictures of Donald Trump, with his fist up in the air after he's been, surviving a assassination attempt. I always recover, I'm always the victim, and I always get up. The way he turns things around, negatives into positives, problems into opportunities, is very good marketing. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to turn all the technical problems we're having in this room into opportunities this semester to help you to understand something. But this is one thing that leaders really do well. The most cunning of them, they love propaganda. They love to be able to turn anything around and create their own reality. And then they push that reality on you, and they hammer it away in marketing until you come to believe it. This is a very, very smart quality. But we all see through this. We all know what they're doing, which is they're creating their own reality to manipulate others, in my estimation. So as you see me this semester talking about tech and the problems and how we're dealing with it, think of it as my Donald Trump moment. I'm turning tech into tech problems, tech stress, into tech learning opportunities for you to see how to solve tech problems, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop for a moment, and I want to make sure everybody has a chance to ask any questions that they may have. I may have to repeat them for the students here if you can't hear online. But does anybody have any questions before we're going to start the team activity and get going? And we also need to get you. It's working now. Okay. Who fixed that? Oh no, it's brain power in this room. It's collective brain power that is making sure the machines bend to our will, not the other way around, right? It started to work because it knows. Anyways, I'm just going off here. Good, so we can get that working. We'll see. We need to get all your names on board there. But Shona, let's stick with Shona's notes because we've promised her she'll get her participation marks. Any questions before we begin the teams? I'm going to put you into teams momentarily. Anything online? Is everybody good? Anybody confused about anything from last week? Anything they want to bring to the class's attention? I have to say, as I look out at all of you in person right now, I'm excited to be here because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little more than last week. And not a single person, as I look, seems to be distracted. This is excellent. Okay. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do when you go into your group in a minute is, got to stay here so everyone can hear. I want to move around with all of you, but if I stay here, I don't have to put this on because I'm a little under the weather today and I almost didn't come, but it got better about 2 hours ago. And so I just brought this in case I have to get close, but I'm going to keep this off while I'm up here. Okay. I'm recovering. I had a little something yesterday. Okay. So I'm not going to get too close. But if I get close and this doesn't come on, remind me to put it on, because I don't want you guys to get this little thing. When you go into your group, could you try one little thing when you begin your conversation? Try to work from your memory. In other words, when you begin to have the discussion about your examples of global leaders, and you're talking to your fellow classmates, try to put the device beside you, and as you're asked by your classmates, what is your example of a global leader? And you're having a discussion, try to work from your memory. And the reason I say that is because studies are showing increasingly that there's a loss of memory formation among people more and more as they use their devices more and more to give them information. It's a very real problem. And if you're going to be in a position of leadership, your judgment, as I mentioned last week, but I'm going to mention even more, will be critical. And your ability to draw on your own memory at times of crisis, when your team is asking you for a decision, or you have to determine what's going on here when you see something, you will not have a chance to refer to your device. Let me give you one small example. We'll stop. On the news last night, I saw something that was quite disturbing. At the Brock Monument in just down the river from Niagara Falls. Do any of you know Niagara on the Lake, Niagara Falls? I'm sure you know. If you come down the Niagara River to Niagara on the Lake, it's a very famous place of battle in the War of 1812, Canada, when Canada was invaded by the Americans who were trying to annex Canada at that time, and we pushed them back with the help of the Indigenous peoples. The general, a British general who led that fight to push the Americans back, he died in battle at that area around the Niagara Escarpment. And his huge monument stands towering over the Niagara River. Have any of you seen the Brock Monument? Do you know what I'm referring to? There? Last night on the news, there was a gathering of white nationalists. They got their attention before the police came, but it certainly made the news. There were about 20 young men, all dressed in black, all marching to reclaim Canada for the white people. This is not what I'm not telling you this because of this. You know, the bigotry, racism, intolerance, ignorance, all of that. That's for later, okay? All of the men had their faces covered, of course. They didn't want to be identified, but they kind of wanted to be identified to show the world that this nationalist organization is growing in Canada. But their leader, he gets up in front of them all, this young sort of Mussolini, Hitler, or Donald Trump wannabe, and he starts giving a little speech to all the men, and he's reading from his iPhone. I mean, it's easy to ridicule. But from a standpoint of leadership, if this person wants to be a dictator, he wants to be a tyrant, he wants the white people to have the power in Canada and get rid of all the immigrants, and he wants support from all those young white men who feel disenfranchised and want to kick all the immigrants out, at the very least, when he speaks, don't look at your iPhone. Come on. What's that? We'll see, Sasha. The police in Niagara and St. Catharines, they have some work to do today to find out who this guy is, but he's made no secret who he is. He was even shown in his car at one point in the scene, giving the Heil Hitler like this. You know, he's a fascist. He wants to be seen, but not all the other ones do. Let's see if the St. Catharines police today, or the Niagara police, after this brazen publicity stunt, will actually investigate this group. Or maybe among the police force and others, there might be sympathizers who don't want to, dismantle this group because maybe they would like to be a part of it. My point is, where was this young, budding dictator's memory? He's not a good leader. You got to be able to use your memory when you speak. So here we go, okay? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We'll do 6 groups because we have 24. So all the 1s are going to go together, all the 2s and all 3s and all 4s. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, gentlemen back here on your phone. 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's always the mutant in the history of humanity. Mutation leads evolution. So if you are the mutant, you should be proud. You're the one who drives evolution. I could explain that in another class. So, all of you 1s, please go find a spot anywhere in the room, okay? All the 2s, please gather. All the 3s, 4s, and for the 5th one, we're going to put you over with all the men, okay? In the number 1 group. I think 1 is all the 1s are men. I don't know. We'll see because we need balance. So go to 0, 1, okay? And let's see what happens. So 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. Yes. I'll try and help you, maybe, but I'll come around, okay? Just grab your seats and I'll try to get the screens working for you, okay? But first, let's form the groups. For the onliners, essentially, I would like all of you to start filling the live chat and helping Shona with examples of global leaders, okay? Examples of global leaders. It's not this week. No, it's next week. Yeah, next week. But you're welcome to stay, okay? You're welcome to stay. So I just got to keep this moving, Ryan, because we've got some issues today. So for all of you online, just start filling the live chat with examples of global leaders that you think should be among those we discussed today, okay? And when you give the names of the individuals in the live chat, explain why. All right? Does everyone understand online? Are you good with that? And Shona, you don't have to take notes of the others. You just put your own example in, okay? Great. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got our teams and we're good. Then I'll go step by step here and see what's working. I think for now, because of the tech issues, I'm not going to worry too much about the screen. If I have some time, the more important thing is that you all have a chance to talk to each other, okay? Great. So, which is this 1? This is 2. Okay. So 2, and our mutant, yes, it is. I thought so. You are the balance for all that testosterone. Okay. You are the gender balance there. That's great. So we have our teams. So essentially, I would like you to now take the next 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, have that discussion, and then somebody want to come in? Oh, that's Ryan. I'll tell you about Ryan. He's going to be joining us next week as our guest. He's a very special, bright student who has some very interesting things to help us in understanding global leadership. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So have a discussion, but choose one person that you think will represent the best qualities, and then one person in your group will have to stand up and explain your choice. And then we're going to have a bigger discussion, and then we're going to vote on everything. So let's just get this part going, okay? Is everybody clear what I'm asking you to do? Go for it. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to the onliners for a moment. We have the in-person group moving. Zainab, here's the harder part. I'd like you to think about Why is Elon Musk an example of global leadership? Put that into the live chat. And the same with the others as well. Put the person's name, explain why you've chosen the person, and do your best to go from your memory. If you need Copilot, that's okay. But don't default to Copilot. Don't default to your device for information. Default to your head first. This is important, okay? Good. Is it Fatima? I think it's, or Fatima or Fatima? Fatima. Okay, great. Fatima, what qualities, the three critical qualities, would you say Nelson Mandela showed in leadership? And if you can, think of a person who's alive right now. Unfortunately, Nelson Mandela is no longer alive. He is a good example. But tell us why you've chosen him, Fatima. Okay, let's see how that's working over here. And uh, yeah, Surin, that's a good example. Do the same as is it Fatima or Fatima? Anyways, correct me, Fatima, if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. Surin, do the same as Fatima is doing in terms of list out the characteristics of Volodymyr Zelensky that makes him a global leader. His passion, his willingness to fight for his own people. Oh, Fatima. Fatima. Yeah, got it. It's just there's an H in there for me, and so I pronounce the H. But okay, Fatima, great. Good, Shona. Bill Gates. Volodymyr Zelensky. Nelson Mandela. Elon Musk. Keep going. And it's okay to reach into ChatGPT, any device. Just give your memory a chance to work first. Okay? So Oh, okay. So, could you please, all right, I'll see you next week at 10:30. Okay? And we'll talk. Yeah, we'll have a quick chat. I have some ideas for you. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Always. Okay, great. Everybody keep going. So, yeah, Greta Thunberg. I knew she would come up. That's good. Let's see who else is coming up here. Okay. So we have, let's see, in terms of choices. Good. Good, Shona. I'm looking at your notes here. Yeah, that's right. And remember, the really important word today, Shona, we want to get in the notes is permacrisis. Okay? Permacrisis, which is essentially we live in a state of permanent crisis these days with so many things happening in the world. And I'll explain more about that. Okay, good. No problem.
But one of the ideas that actually just came to me, and by the way, just message me if you have any ideas for next week
Okay.
at all. But I was thinking like maybe one that might relate to like school leadership.
Yeah.
So maybe just the importance of like taking the initiative to build your own business while you're at college, like outside of regular class.
Reading my mind, right? I knew you would. That's almost word for word what I was thinking. It's talking about your podcast, about your initiative, about even I don't have time to talk now because I've got to solve this, but how things are going with Rogers and anything that developed there, interest in science education, all your own initiative. I know you were thinking of doing it. Yeah, you're thinking of doing it.
So I'm that now this year. So
Yeah.
It's going pretty well. The first day, I made sure to make sure I got like at least a portion of the classes like Instagram, so I could create a group chat with everybody.
Yeah.
Like work cohesively and stuff like that. I'll say if I don't do it, anybody else is gonna.
Well, initiative is going to be the big and vision. Initiative and vision. Okay. That's all. Anyways, I got to get doing this. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Yep. Good. Okay. Yeah. See you next week. Yeah. Jeff Bezos. Okay. Good. Let's just see how many of these are American. I'm kind of curious so far. It's okay. Bill Gates. Yep. American. Fine. Zelensky, of course, Ukrainian. Nelson Mandela, South African. So we're moving around. Jeff Bezos, fine. But of course, that's American. Good choice, Danvir. But be conscious, all of you, as you begin to do this, of how many might unconsciously, for all of you, be American. That you, in your memory, you're coming up with American examples, and that's limited in terms of a global mind. Okay, but Danvir, explain, just like Shona and the others, why you've chosen Jeff Bezos or Bezos. He's okay. So okay, so let's see. I'm just going to do this. I'll move this over here, and then that way everybody will see. What do they see on YouTube? Whoops. Okay. Good. So on YouTube, they're seeing. That's good. And then in the little corner, they'll see that. Maybe I'll move this a bit over here. So let's see. So the students watching the recording later, what will they see? They'll see the map of the world. But if I move over here, will they see the live chat? Yeah, that's kind of the idea. That's kind of the idea. That way, for the students watching the recordings, they will see the onliners in the lower part of the screen. They'll see the live chat behind me. They'll see a map of the world. They see YouTube. Yeah. That's right, Danvir. And here's a question for you to think about. If you were to pick one, let's say two qualities, each a word, the two qualities that Jeff Bezos has demonstrated that has made him so successful. Give me two words, two different qualities in two different words. Put those words in there, okay? All right, 3 more minutes, and then we're going to take it up. I'm talking to the onliners, okay? Keep going. But we've got some good examples coming up there. We're getting there. I need to stay here. So just as an update for everybody online, for the recording students, there are 24 students in person right now. I can't turn my camera around and show you because then the cables get all messed up here. You should already be clear by now, if you've watched the recording this far, that I'm doing a lot of tech workarounds because of the tech issues. And that there may be a strike tomorrow by the sports staff here at the college. And among them would be the technical support people. And in support of them and their cause, I'm not calling on them to help me today to do anything here. I'm just working with what I can and do what I can. So this is the best we have. You see me, you see the online students, but the 24 in-person students, they're now in groups and they're discussing their choices of global leaders. And we're going to take that up momentarily. Okay, 2 minutes. And what I'll do is I'll bring the representative or leader from each group to stand up here and give their choice. Okay, that's how we'll work around this today. Okay. So for the synchronous students, right now we're going to be taking this up shortly. So just get ready. Everybody should have put in their choices. Wei Jen. Hi, Wei Jen. Have you put your choice in yet? I'm not seeing anything. Drew, how are you doing? If I remember correctly, I may be wrong, Drew, but you were among the students who wanted to talk about specific examples, but I may be wrong. Anyways, don't forget. Okay, Wei Jen, good. And Drew, excellent. All right. 60 seconds. We're going to do this. And we're going to have some fun. Now, I need to park myself here. That way the recording will stay. Great. Oh, I know. The final thing I want to put here is this guy. KISS. Right. So let's see what's happening here. Okay. Oh, we don't want that to go small. Stay with us there. Good. Okay. That's good. Great. Okay. We're going to start taking this up. We're at the top of the hour, and this is going to be the most intensive part of today's class. It will start to feel a bit like last week when we had our little speed meeting activity. But I've been able to get things set up today, and it's working. So I'll just show you what's up on the board right now. The big board, which usually has so much more on it and videos and everything. But right now, the critical part is in the top right-hand corner. You can see the YouTube live stream, and there's a delay, so a couple of seconds ago. And I need to always keep an eye on that in case it crashes, because that's my recording for everybody. Okay, I get my recording later, and it's all working. And for those watching later in the recording, they will see this. Okay, and so they will see the live chat behind me at all times. They will be able to hear. And shortly, our workaround today for the representative from each group is that, like last week, one student is going to come up here, chosen from the group, just like Zaid did last week. And that student is going to present their choice. So just start thinking if you haven't chosen that person yet, start thinking, because in a couple of minutes, one from each of the groups is going to come up and stand here for 3 or 4 minutes and explain their choice. And we're going to get up on the board and into the notes, okay? So that's how we're going to do it today. Just to remind you of what normally what's up here on another, normally on the big board, I will have 3 streams of content going, and we will always see on one of the panels the International Space Station live view as it orbits the planet. I have it here in the lower right-hand corner right now, and let's just see where the space station is live at this moment. It is over Mongolia right now. And it's important for us to kind of anchor ourselves mentally every class to the space station. And the reason I do that is to help remind you that we're living at a time of intensive planetization, not globalization, planetization. And Shona, can you make sure that word gets into the notes along with permacrisis? When you see that space station going around the planet, it takes it about 90 minutes to go around the planet, moving at, what is its velocity right now? It's moving at, it's just giving us some information about Mongolia. Usually it will tell us how fast, but it's usually moving, I think it's about 25,000 kilometers an hour, or 28,000 kilometers an hour, which, if you want to get a mental picture of that, to go from Whitby to Oshawa, the space station, at that speed, you do it in like a second. It's just moving so fast. It takes 90 minutes to go around the planet. Your mind as a global leader and understanding global leadership has to be now sort of pulled open more. And once it's open, it will never go back to the way it was. Your mind has to get bigger. your mind has to get broader. To be able to think about global leadership, you have to be able to mentally be able to think about the whole planet. That's what planetization means. You and I and all those coming after us are living at that time in history when we humans have established for an absolute fact, no conspiracy, it's all true, absolutely, that we have left the planet and we're looking back at the planet now and we know its shape. We see it every moment of the day through the space station. And this mindset is available to every single human being on the planet now. It also means that we're all together now in ways we never have been. So globalization is a word you may be used to when we talk about the world as one, but that generally is an economic term around business and trade and supply lines and the way countries are connected economically. Planetization is bigger. It means that you have to think about all of us together, countries together, economically, as well as the environment. Globalization doesn't take that into account, but you, as a global leader and others, have to be thinking now about our impact on nature, our impact on the natural world, our impact on the planet. It's very, very important, okay? So it's a term I'll be using a lot, planetization, and I'll always try and have this as a reference for you, okay? So here we go. We'll come to the live chat choices a little bit later, but let's do the in-person group. Who is ready? Let's see the, yes, there's the leader. There's the Zay today. You ready? You raise your hand. Oh, but it has to be one person. Come up here. They won't hear you. Nobody will hear you online. So who's going to come up? Who's going to come up? Yeah. Way to go. Way to go. Okay. And you can leave the hoodie up because that shows you are a young person today.
Very hip.
No problem. Yeah. We want to make sure you can be seen. So let's just, as I walk away, look who's coming up there right now. Okay. Live on YouTube to two people who are watching YouTube live stream. Okay. So first, would you give your name for everybody and just give us a little information about you and then get ready to tell us about your choice, okay?
Okay. I'm Miriam Russell. I'm in Durham Arts and Science.
Yes.
That's my program. I'm a mature student,
Yes.
so not as hip and young as I seem.
Meaning that we have to respect you because you have a quality that maybe the younger ones here don't have. You have experience.
Thank you. Yes.
So this is good. This is good. It's Miriam?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Miriam, just tell everybody, and try and speak so you're being heard and know that the microphone being used here. Just tell everybody the choice that your group. And finally, before I forget, sorry, who's going to be the note taker today to get those full participation marks? Where is is it Melissa who did it?
No,
You did, yeah. Melissa, he volunteered. Yep, good. Over there. There we go. What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay, Daniel, grab the pen and I can show you. Do you know how to use it? I'll show. Just let me get Daniel because we're going to get full marks for this. And just all you do is like this. If you want to know. So anything you want to just put here. There you go. Okay, so and I'll just let Shona know finally. Shona, don't worry about keeping the notes going, although it's good if you can, but don't worry because we've got Daniel now on the notes here because we're going to do some big choices. Okay, so you can take a rest. Okay. So, Miriam.
Yes.
Stage is yours.
Okay, so the person that my group thought would be a good example of a global leader is Greta Thunberg. So she's been around for a long time. She went into the public eye at a very young age. She was I think 16 or 17 when she first got her platform and like came onto the stage at, I think, the UN, if I'm not mistaken, for the purpose of like environmentalism and really making plans to have people. Sorry,
It's okay.
As I ramble on, I lose my way.
I know, but this is not easy.
Mm.
And last week, you know, Zaid had a challenge, but there are more students here today in front of her. And also, what I really like to see is that the attentiveness of the students is even a little bit better today. So their eyes are on you, and they're getting it. That their head is there with you.
Mm.
They're listening. So they're with you. Okay, they're with you.
Appreciate it, everybody. Yeah. So her big thing when she first came onto the scene was environmentalism and trying to make changes for people to just get better in general with how the governments were legislating stuff around the environment. And she kind of lost her platform like recently because she switched to the Palestine-Israel conflict, and she's on the side of Gaza. And it's not just speaking out on her platform, but also she got on her little boat, which they tried to assassinate her on. But she got on her boat and she was trying to, yes? Greta.
Greta Thunberg. They've chosen. Your group is chosen. And it's great. Daniel's already got the spelling, and he did it without looking at anything. I think he got it out of his head like that. Okay. All right. Now, I want to make sure everyone has a chance to do this. So we're going to wrap this up here with you, okay? But you need to tell us something, though. That's very important. What would you say are the 3 critical leadership or global leadership qualities that Greta has demonstrated? And we want to define characteristics of these people. That's very important, okay? Characteristics.
Team.
Okay.
Give me something.
Yeah, go ahead. Team. Courage. Okay, let's put it good, Daniel. Courage. Okay, excellent. Courage. Empathy. Lovely. And then one final one. Yes. Oh, wow, perseverance. Way to go, perseverance. Excellent. Okay, let's leave that there for now, okay? Unless you want to add anything to this, Miriam? Do you want to add in terms of a quality they may have missed? That's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. I think they did a good job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Way to go, guys. Okay, keep it going, okay? Let's keep it going. This is a very good list because it reminds me of a little story I could tell you later. I want to make sure everybody has a chance. So let's keep this going. The next group, who's it going to be? Which group, which team were you with? Now, you were with that team over there? Yes? Hold on. Just a second. Gotta make sure this is working. I like the, let me see, chutzpah. That's like courage right there. But, yes, or?
No, they're right. I'm just like, you know, I was there.
Suggesting them to go right now.
Oh, okay. This team, got it. He's chosen. This is that team. So, one of you has to do what Miriam is doing.
I think I'll go.
Way to go. Okay, same as Miriam did, you know the drill, the name, what program, and then explain, okay? If you have a real urge to get to the washroom, since there's no break, it's okay if you run out and come back, but we're going to continue the class. Remember the deal we have, which is we end 15 minutes early, no phone, but you know, I understand if you have to go, but let's keep going, all right?
Yeah, so we had a couple examples. Originally, we were going to go with Greta Thunberg, but someone already did that.
Okay.
We had a couple of other examples, mostly politicians. We had Mark Carney and Vladimir Zelensky.
Volodymyr Zelensky?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Who's the one? Who you want to?
Vladimir Zelensky.
Because that came up in the live chat, and it's a very interesting choice. Vladimir Zelensky.
Vladimir,
okay. Vladimir. It's interesting because the two adversaries right now, Russia and Ukraine, the leaders both have the same names. Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky. Daniel?
can we not put Zelensky?
Oh,
Why not?
Okay, were you part of that team?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, you don't want Zelensky there.
We discussed Zelensky in our team, and he came along and he said,
Okay, well, I think I have an interesting moment here. This is where I'm going to add a little bit of tension.
that wasn't my team.
Okay, it's okay. This is good. What's your name again?
Muntader.
Muntader. Yeah, you did the notes last week.
Yeah.
Just normally I would have the camera go over there, but for now I'll translate. Daniel, and I don't have a microphone to give you, so could you just explain to us, since your voice matters, why not Zelensky? You are Ukrainian.
I lived under Zelensky's rule for 5 years, so I can say that he's a dictator. A lot of people have died because of him, and he's really not the great example of independent and good leader. I know that a lot of media is trying to portray it this way,
Yes.
but it's just not the case.
Well, this is a great, courageous student to stand up and say, among many in this part of the world who look to Volodymyr Zelensky as a person who represents something admirable as a leader, to say, wait a minute, I have a different perspective. And absolutely. I want to just remind you of what we're doing right now that relates to global leadership. We're becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable right now. You have to do that all the time. Leaders have to do that all the time. They're dealing with conflict. And conflict is discomfort. And if you don't like discomfort and you want everything to be nice, then probably leadership is not for you. Or you need to develop new skills. We have to now deal with the fact that there is a perspective that's different. And we must respect it and understand it. This is very important to have this dialogue, okay? That's all I want to say right now. We don't need to carry on with this about Zelensky. We won't put Zelensky there for now, okay?
Thank God.
We won't put Volodymyr Zelensky there for now, out of respect for Daniel. Hold on a second. Yes.
I also agree with you.
You agree with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So Volodymyr Zelensky is considered by Daniel and by Harmanpreet, is it? Harmanpreet, as not a good example of global leadership, because we might be seeing, or we are seeing, according to them, qualities of a tyrant, a dictator, a controlling person. Wow, excellent. So then, who should we put there?
No worries,
You're
man.
not part of that
The only
team,
reason-
okay? So you have to now, do we go with the second? So for simple respect for Daniel and his position.
If I could just say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only reason I brought him up, right, and I can give a different example. I don't know his name personally, that's why we went with Vladimir, but with someone else who ran as a joke, right, for a political position.
He did. He had a television show,
Yeah,
a comic, and then eventually,
right, yeah. So the only reason I brought him up is he's the only person I knew the name of.
Okay.
Somebody else who did something similar, they ran as a joke, right, and the people were kind of like sick of the current political scape of their country and what was going on.
Yes.
And they picked that person out of spite, basically. And it turns out that they became a better leader than most of the others that came before
Who's
them.
that person?
Unfortunately, I don't know, but I think someplace in like Iceland or something. I'm not too sure.
Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little lesson just to guide him. He made a mistake as a leader, but he wasn't expected to know.
Right.
Okay. As soon as I asked him, what's your second choice, he immediately defaulted to I. But he represents a we. Now, the exercise was that you choose among the team. So what you could have said, but you could not have known this, Mutada, because I didn't even teach this, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Was to say, well, I'm just going to check with my team. Team, what should be the second choice? Do you agree it should be this person, but we don't have a name for this person? but another leader who was an unusual choice. It turned out to be pretty good, but we think that person is not mentioned. But you have an example of a second choice? Okay, for the sake of moving things along, Bob Marley. Love. Oh. That is a beautiful choice. Wow. Now we get musicians and we. Okay, so let us. Are you good with that, Bob Marley?
Yes, but unfortunately, I don't know too much, so I could discuss with my team.
Please come up, please. It is. Is this person freelancing for that group?
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
he put himself in.
Okay,
in our
he's
group.
a freelancer. Freelancer,
right.
come up.
There you
Okay, freelancer, you got the courage. Please come up and explain your name and why Bob Marley as an example of. Go ahead. Yeah.
My name is David. You know, and I chose Bob Marley because he's a true inspiration. You know, he was able to impact the world globally from his gift and his talent. He was in the time of oppression, and if people don't know, Bob Marley actually was half black and half white in Jamaica. So he knew the sides of every culture, and he brought it in with love. So his message was love, peace, and prosperity, not wealth, prosperity, but in the mind. So he said, "No woman, no cry."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Singer, musician, Mutada, Bob Marley, Jamaican. Beautiful, important. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, right?
Yeah.
But so what's your name again?
David.
David. Oh, well,
Or David.
no, David, you corrected me. Okay,
Yeah.
David. David, for Daniel, what are the three qualities? Love, or he
love.
represents, what did he display as a human being? What did he do? And his attributes that we can learn from as a leader.
Team.
Let David speak first, and then you can add, okay? Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Love is love.
Love.
Perfect. Love. Compassion. All right, is that no? Okay, let's go love first. Courage.
Courage.
Courage. I remember he got shot and he still performed that day. Courage, strength. And the key someone tried to kill him, They tried to annihilate him. And what I'll say is wisdom.
Wisdom. Nice. Now, Daniel, did you want to add something to that? Because what we want to be creating are lists of characteristics of global leaders that we can learn from.
I would add diplomacy because, as far as I know, he helped to end the Civil War.
True.
In Jamaica.
Exactly.
So I would add diplomacy.
Dialogue.
Oh, dialogue.
Not monologue. Me.
Dialogue.
And that immediately means you have to step out of your little ideological bubble and start to open yourself up to other perspectives. That's not easy.
My Christian brother.
Yes.
Actually, there was no Civil War in Jamaica.
This is a true yard woman. What? Yeah, exactly. True yard woman.
So,
yeah.
You stand corrected?
But maybe political unrest.
Yeah.
What's that?
Political unrest.
Okay. But he brought, like Mahatma Gandhi, he was a Gandhi-like figure. He brought different sides together, like Hindus and Muslims.
I don't mean to jump on his side. Yes, he was half black and he was half white. But in regards to his white side of family, he wasn't in touch because his father was actually an overseer for a plantation who actually raped his mom and so conceived Bob Marley. So I guess the best side of the situation. Yeah, he was.
Well, let's. Could you return and come up for a second because we want to see you. Thank you, David. Okay, come because there's a moment here. Could you come up? Yeah, thank you. Come on up. This is excellent. I want to just remind you of what's happening here, which is, to me, it's just wonderful to be in a classroom with students who are ready to go there in this way, is that we are learning together, but we're doing it sometimes by touching a raw nerve. And we're not shying away from difficult things. So when we look at people to admire, global leaders that we should respect, we have to know the facts about their character. We live at a time when many people don't trust anything. Trust is very difficult right now, and people are confused on who to trust and why we should trust them. So I'm going to do something very hard for those who chose Bob Marley. I'm going to ask you, and what's your name?
Rhea.
Rhea. Is Bob Marley somebody we can trust as an example of a global leader we should look up to?
I believe as a musician, he is someone that can be trusted. However, on a female's perspective, he is not someone that can be trusted because he has many children by many different women. You understand? So he wouldn't be someone women would trust on a global scale because he stepped out of his marriage. He had his wife performing as like his backup singer while he had his side chick, on tour with them and so forth. So it all depends on perspective.
Oh,
Right?
it does. But
Yeah.
actually, more than perspective, now what do we do? Do we leave his name up there or do we take it down? Because you've given us some information, and I'm going to, as a leader, here's what we need to do. We need to ask the person who's brought us this new information, Rhea, is this true? What you just said?
Yes, it is.
How do we know that?
Well, his side chick is Sydney Shakespeare. She's Damian's Marley's mom. So yeah, it's facts.
It is facts?
She even did a documentary in regards to it. Rita Marley, his wife, did a documentary in regards to it as well. So it's factual information.
Remember, we have a lot of synthetic content
it's
online
real.
today, and it's
real.
not real. There's a lot of so
real.
we know it's real, and we can trust.
We have two
this.
more Jamaicans in the class who can back me up. So
excellent. Okay, so then, Zaid, go ahead.
Does being a player in some sense, like with women, disqualify the
no, it doesn't disqualify him as a good person, but it's all in regards to retrospect, because from a woman's perspective, it wouldn't be deemed as a global leader because you're not setting an example for what a whole family should be. You're stepping out of your marriage, you're blatantly doing it in front of your wife and everyone else, the world to see and everything. So in regards to these characteristics, yes, he's all about love, he's all about courage and everything, but what about his personal side?
Well, it's very important, and we're going to go to Sasha, and then we're going to move on from this in a moment. I'm almost beginning to think that one of the qualities we should put about Bob Marley that should not be on the list, but that is part of who he is chauvinistic. And do we want leaders who are chauvinistic and look at women as vessels for their own pleasure? Is that how we should look at a woman? That is like from the Stone Age. Okay, hold on a second. Sasha has something to say, and then let's make sure I'm going to say, just because I'm watching time, and I always believe the most important thing in a class is the class has to be great. I'm willing to throw out everything I was planning to do as long as we are learning together. Meaning, I'm not going to be able to get to everybody today. That's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to stay on Bob Marley now, and we're going to decide in the next 5 to 10 minutes, does he make this list or not? And we're going to end the class. You're going to put your names on board and everything. We will have learned everything that you need to learn today about what I want to do. I'm not doing everything I told you I would, but my style of teaching is not to try and cram everything in that I planned, but to see how it's going and seize those moments and go with it, because I know you're really learning. Is that fair? It's called organic teaching. Okay, Sasha.
So, like, just branching off of what Zaid said, him questioning, your name was
Rhea.
Rhea.
Questioning her information on Bob Marley. coming from someone who listened to reggae on a daily basis, listened to Bob Marley all the time, hearing these things about him does change my opinion about who he is. Because I thought of him before. I didn't know anything about that until just now.
Wow.
So it does impact the
It's
way that I think about
yeah,
him as a global
it's
leader.
good
I don't
music,
see
but
him like that anymore.
Sasha, if you were asked to put Bob Marley on the list or maybe put him into the, penalty box, he's not going to be on our team now. We're putting him in the penalty box.
It's a very difficult decision because if you put someone who didn't know about that and then someone who did, for example, Rhea, it's very hard because David spoke so passionately about it, but what he knew, and there's nothing wrong with that because he didn't know.
Yes.
That's okay because everyone learns. Like I had this conversation earlier in the class today, so it's okay for Rhea to express her opinions on what she knows because that's not wrong either.
Yes.
We're all learning and we're all developing different opinions and changing our opinions about these people based on what we're learning.
From a learning standpoint, in terms of your mind being sort of open, do you find it's pretty powerful to have a Jamaican woman stand up here and tell you something as opposed to me writing on a PowerPoint? Bob Marley was somebody whose relationships with women was kind of old-fashioned.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, it wouldn't matter to me if she was Jamaican or not. It's the facts that she knows. It does, it is more power in coming from someone who's a part of the culture and who knows about it. That's amazing, and that speaks volumes. It makes you, confident and happy about your culture, your background. But it's more moving for it to come from someone from that background.
Okay, let's make sure we have everybody here before we're going to do our vote. Okay, because we're going to vote on Bob Marley. That's going to be what everybody remembers of today's class. They're going to walk out of here from Global Leader, and they're going to be in their heads, they're going to be like, we voted on, is Bob Marley a good example of global leadership or not? And the onliners, you're going to be voting too, okay? So let's go. First, the young woman there, did you want to say something? Yes, I saw you, yeah. Go ahead.
So I think that everyone, not excusing what he did, but I think that everyone has their flaws. So maybe even Greta had something similar to Bob Marley. Not saying she did, just saying that we don't know about that wasn't in the public eye. Bob Marley's life is mostly in the public eye. So we got to see all those stuff that they said, but maybe Greta did some things too that were not saying she did that were like that, but we don't know, so we can't judge her from that because we haven't seen. So I feel like everyone has their flaws, but we have good sides that make them a good leader. So just saying.
It's very wise, and I'm going to tell you why what you said is so wise from my perspective and from the global leadership standpoint. Let me just repeat for the onliners. I'll kind of translate quickly so they heard, because I don't think they. What's your name again?
Tissan.
Tissan just said that we have to remember when we look at leaders in our examples that they are also human beings with flaws. Bob Marley, she said, was in the public eye for many things. Greta Thunberg, not so much. It's possible that Greta Thunberg has her own, let's say, weaknesses or human qualities that would disqualify her from a leader, but she's human. So we have to be thinking about, I think what you're saying, about the things that maybe we don't know about others too. What I take from that, Tissan, from a leadership standpoint, is something broader. Raise a hand if you think that a leader is somebody who is sort of kind of superhuman, like is better than us or somehow doesn't have the same kinds of problems we do. Raise a hand if you think a leader is a person who has this sort of just another almost race of person. They're just special because they seem so good and right. I don't think anybody's going to raise their hand. Maybe the quality that we're looking for in leadership is how you face your weaknesses, how conscious you are of what you lack, and then how you overcome those things to become a better person. Does that make sense? Is it possible that Bob Marley never really addressed the fact that he was not treating women very well? Or did he ever address this and then changed?
I don't think he addressed it. All right, it's a cultural thing, right? In Jamaica, right? I'm not talking down on my country, but we have this baby mother culture, right? So him having a wife, yes, that's good. But they also, most of the men believe in having side women, having outside children. So it's something like it's second nature to them.
Yes.
So it's not like he addressed it because he's saying that maybe it's his personal thing, you know?
Yes.
This is not for something for you to talk to me about. Who I'm with, it's not your business. But at the same time, if you were in this era, it would be everyone's business, you know, who you're with,
Yes.
how you
Yes.
bring yourself, and, you know, those type of things. So it depends on the generation, it depends on the era, it depends on the people. It's all dependent. So I'm not crossing him off the list. He's a
Okay.
wonderful leader, you know?
Yes.
However, if we were to look on it on a whole, there are some things, you know, you would, maybe not.
Okay, I'm going to ask Daniel to put
So
one
many
big
questions.
word. I'm going to ask you to make another slide, put one big word, because this is something that I wanted to teach you today along with permacrisis. And I kind of touched on permacrisis, but not as much as I wanted to. The most important thing that we can do at the end of every class is to have a deeper appreciation of what it means to be a global leader, what it takes, who these people are, where are they, and for you to interact with these people as well as guests. So there has to be some wisdom in every class where you feel you're starting to understand something a little bit more about global leaders and global leadership. I started today's class with this idea of permacrisis, the idea that we are always today living in a world of constant problems and constant conflict and constant crisis. And that's what the strike possibly tomorrow represents. It's just another conflict happening around us that we have to be able to deal with. There's something bigger around this in one word that I want you to never forget along with permacrisis, and that is complexity. Could you just write that, Daniel? Complexity. The choice of Bob Marley today, making the list or not, is a complicated choice. Leaders are constantly dealing with these kinds of choices they have to make, decisions they have to make that require an understanding of complexity, how difficult, how entangled the world is today. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Remember that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once? So how do you and how do we now, knowing now that we just have a person up here and we're learning more and it's getting more complicated, and now Ray is bringing in Jamaican culture. Well, I can't go to your question right now because I want to make sure we finish with the vote. That's the critical thing today. We're about to make a choice. And I think you stay here, Rhea, okay, because you've really helped us to understand. And for those of you online, we're about to make a choice, a vote, okay? We're going to choose. Should Bob Marley be on our list? We have not yet chosen the leaders yet. We're going to continue that next week. Okay, we'll finish this activity, not to worry. But we took a little bit of a side river today from the big ocean. We paddled down a side river today because there was an excellent example that was brought up of Bob Marley that presented us with a complicated decision. Every leader faces these complicated decisions. You must do that constantly. So now, as we think about Bob Marley, as being a person who should be on our list or not. And there will be many others that we're going to choose from next week. But should he be allowed to be on our list or not? As an example of global leadership, I'm going to ask you to think for 15 seconds, and then you're going to be allowed to clap for only once. Like you can, not one time, but you clap for only either yes or no. Okay? If it's a yes, you clap with everybody, and we're going to hear a lot of yeses. If it's a no, and it's even louder than the yes, then he's off the list. But you're only allowed to clap that one choice time. Same with those of you online. Could you please put your clap, somehow do it as a digital clap, okay? And we'll see it up here, all right? So here we go. I'm going to ask you now to clap. Do you want any more time to think about your choice? Good leaders, too, they're not reactors. They don't just react and send out their tweets or whatever. They stand back and they think. They'll take the time and reflect. It's okay if you say, I just want to run this through my head a little bit more, okay? I just want to think, then we're going to do it. Okay, so hold on. I want to make sure, did you want to say something? And then
quickly.
Yeah.
The value of Bob Marley's global leadership prospectively around the world depends on, is his love and courage message more strong than the negative perspective, negative perpetuation of what he perpetuates stereotypically negatively.
Wow, gotta balance that out. Cost and benefit, it's these are tough decisions.
Does he spread that message? Okay. Does he spread that message further than what the negative perpetuates he would?
Okay, fair enough. That's what you got to ask. That's a question to ask. Did what he do, the benefits and his influence and what he stood for, really resonate in a stronger than and will last longer for humanity than that other kind of side about the way he dealt with women who are in Jamaican culture kind of supposed to be treated like that. Okay, this is not easy, okay? David.
Quickly, I just wanted to put out there, there's all about his impact, and then I like what my sister said, sometimes the culture that creates a certain thing. So in this era, it would be looked at as bad, but I'm from West Africa, Ghana, and our tribe, like the Shantis, men are able to have multiple wives, and it's a normal thing. So I just wanted to point out.
Sure.
My sister is very talented and smart, but she said his wife was his backup singer, and he went on tour with one of his things. So it could have been it could have been good to those women that were doing it. I'm not saying it was in our era, but
it's amazing. Talk about complicated. It's wonderful. From Ghana, Africa, here is an Oshawa and a crossing with all these. We got women. We got the Jamaican woman with the cross, a Christian here. We got Daniel from Ukraine saying, no, wow, it's starting to get this planetization thing. It's complex. Man, is it complex. Okay, you got to vote. We're going to have to leave this to next week. Okay, guys, sorry, but just for the sake of... Here we go. If you believe, and for the onliners too, put your hand. If you believe that Bob Marley should be on our list going into next week, please start clapping. Wow. Okay, hold on. Sasha is clapping still, even though she's grappling a little bit. But okay, and we'll see online. If you believe Bob Marley should not be on the list, please start clapping. Well. I'm tempted to say to those of you today for your discussion post, your second discussion post, some of you may walk out of here today wanting to write more than just a question. because you may be kind of motivated to. I was tempted to walk in here to say I'll give them bonus marks, but I'm not going to do that yet for you, okay? If you choose in your discussion post, because you want to write more about this, your question today, go ahead for the sake of the conversation, but you won't get bonus marks for that, okay? Just do your question. Just do your question. But for those of you online, the onliners, let me just check. I'm going to assume that the hands here, let's see the digital. Did we get any digital hands going up? No, because maybe they didn't hear. Who knows? Don't worry about that. But for those of you watching the recordings later who are doing the big reflection, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you explain your question today. And we have just chosen, let me just remind you, you have just chosen an individual to be on our list of global leaders in spite of the fact of the information that was brought and in spite of the fact of what she gave to us. Thank you so much for telling us. She still voted for him. That's fascinating. And I want to return to that next week. I want to return to that, why you would do that. Why you would do that. And then for the two very brave students, maybe next week in our little review section, we'll get the two of you to come up and explain, okay? Yeah, that's right. You can leave today singing about the idea that global leadership is something that we're going to be exploring like this every single week. And I hope that you are really leaving here today with your head a little more open. I look forward to your discussion posts. Please write down on board before you leave. Have a lineup here. Put your names down there. Everyone gets their participation marks. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rhea.
Thank you.
See you next week, guys. Excellent. Okay, on board over there for the onliners. Let's see. Oh, there's the clapping. Okay, so let me just check here. Sorry. Drew, Fatima, Shona, you were clapping to keep Bob Marley on the list, right? I didn't see that. Let me just, sorry. Just want to check. Do those clapping hands? Oh, to keep him off the list. Okay. Well, we'll return to that next week. So all of the onliners, keep him off the list. Look at that. We'll talk about that next week, okay? Thank you. I just needed to check with this. Okay, so Drew, Fatima, Shona, Wajan, Surin are all saying Bob Marley should not be on the list. We'll review that next week. Okay, everybody? So let me just check and see. I'm going to, you too, Jacob. Okay. Let me just shut this down here and then I'll talk to you guys, okay? So first, let me get the live chat. Good. This is a very important download here, and I've got it there. Excellent. Okay. Toria. Cern, you said that he should be on the list or off the list? Let me just see. Just clarify that before I do a final save. On the list. Okay, great. All right, everybody. See you next week. Don't forget your discussion post. Let me save that again. Okay, let me do this again. Got to make sure everybody's coming in. I got to end this, and I've got to stop the... Okay, I'll save that afterwards. Okay, just be aware that they might hear you. So let me mute. They won't.